This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 228 of the Dressage Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network.
Stanfield from Georgetown, Kentucky.
And this is Philip Parks from Fergus, Ontario, and you're listening to the Dressage Radio with just Reese and I today, so no producer.
I know, Philip, you've got the producer hat on.
Yeah, wearing multiple hats. And
how you feeling? Are you nervous?
We're doing okay. I'm fine at this point. We've been doing this for a while now, Reese. I'm okay. I think I've got the technology figured out. We can do the show, and it'll be successful, I'm sure.
I hope so, because as you know, like everybody, I told Glenn that if I ever have to produce the show or be involved with the technology, I'm quitting. So far, I have not had to do it yet.
It took you like 3 months just to figure out how to use Skype and the chat and everything.
It did. I'm not gonna lie. It's okay. I'm not.
We spend time in the barn, right? Not on the computer.
I am not very technologically sound. It's because Travis is a software engineer. So as we all know, like when you have somebody solve a problem, you don't fix it or learn.
You don't learn how to fix it yourself.
No. I just say, please scan that document. I should probably learn how to do those things, but
it's okay.
What can I say? I like to train horses, so.
Yeah, and you're good at that. So that's it. As long as you're good at something.
Yeah, exactly. Not very good with computers, and I'm sort of mastering my new phone, and I like the Horse Radio Network app. It's very easy to use, so I'm really.
That one was straightforward for you, so that's.
Yes,
that's good.
Glenn designed that just for me.
So we were just talking, and we were talking about your busy week that's going on. Tell us what's happening in Kentucky. Give us the update.
Oh my goodness, it is extremely busy here. It's been a great week. Yesterday we had, which was Sunday, we had some super big storms that came through, and I had have the pleasure to ride with Debbie McDonald, with Miss Winnie, my big mare, who's really turning out to be quite a talented little lady.
Fancy little horse.
Yeah, she's turning out to be really fancy. And I actually was about an hour away, and we had some really bad storms. So Robert Dover was here at the farm coaching a few riders. I never saw Robert, but I'm glad that he's seen my farm. And so it's pretty cool. It was sort of like, oh, Robert's at my farm. I'm riding with Debbie. This is a really hard thing.
We didn't coordinate that very well, did you?
Yeah, but I was super thrilled that our facility could be used for high performance clinics. It's great. And again, this is just a really busy week, but oh my gosh, to have so much talent 5 minutes from my house is just amazing. And it's really, it's a busy week. It's kind of like the Super Bowl. I'll be really excited to actually, Philip, when we're coming up for your wedding, and I'm really excited for a little vacation.
So much going on, isn't there?
Yeah, I'll be ready for a little vacation. But I had such a great ride with my mare, with Debbie McDonald, and that was really fun to sort of get her opinion on her and give us little things to work on before we hopefully head to Florida. So that was really fun. So it should be a good week. And Philip, you also had a clinic this week. Yeah,
we had Gina Smith at the farm this weekend for a clinic. Our local Cadora club, that's a local dressage club, was hosting it, and we had a wonderful. I mean, we also had rain. I think most of the continent was having rain and a big storm coming through, but everything's okay. A couple of trees down, but it's good. But very successful clinic. Lots of great riders here, and Gina was great help, and so it's been busy, but it's fun. So that was our last thing on the schedule before we buckle down and go wedding countdown extravaganza situation.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited. It's gonna be fun.
Super fun.
Yeah, we're looking forward to having everybody here. All of our friends and family. The ones that are away to come in and have Reese and Travis here to, Reese is going to help me with some horses, so that's...
Yes! Everybody, I will totally tell you, Philip, that we were talking last night about coming up, and Philip said, Friday is horses, and I was like,
Friday's horse day.
Of course it is.
Yeah, the day before the wedding. Yeah, we're going to
yeah. I rode the day. Mr. Schumacher, he was in town, and I was not missing an opportunity to have a lesson with Conrad Schumacher, so he came to our wedding, and it was really fabulous, and he came and took the time to do that. So, I think I had my hardest lesson on record ever from Mr. Schumacher. And I've been riding with him since I was 14, the day of my wedding. And I remember literally, I am not kidding you. What stopped the lesson, actually, and I'm not kidding around, when we lived at my mom's, I was still at my mom's house, and our farm was there, and our arena sort of backed up to the back of our house, and there was the deck and the kitchen. And what stopped the lesson, actually, thankfully, because I was about to die at this point, was a table they were starting to set up for the brunch the next day. And a gentleman, God love him, lost a table, and it came crashing down the steps. And I have never seen my mom move so fast to get me off a horse. My mom came running out of the house, get her off the horse, screaming, waving her arms, like, get her off the horse.
Was that helpful, though? Was it like...
We were standing, and thankfully sort of where my mare was, because she was very reactive. This was Jamaica, the mother of all my young ones. Yep. She was very hot and very reactive. And thankfully where she was standing, she couldn't see. And I was actually standing talking to Schumacher. So he could have, in theory, if she had done anything, he probably would have grabbed her. But my mom was done. My mom was like, get her off the horse. She cannot die right now. So I got off the horse. End of lesson. It was the quickest end of a lesson I've ever had. And my mom got me off the horse. She was like, we're done. And Schumacher's like, we're not done. And my mom, he was not arguing with the mother of the bride.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, no.
I wouldn't argue with her either.
No. I got off the horse, and then I quickly went in and took a shower and got in my little outfit I was wearing to the salon. And I was so tired sitting in the chair that all my bridesmaids and my hairdresser were like, you are the most relaxed bride. I was like, I just had an hour and a half lesson with Mr. Schumacher.
Sleepy. Yeah, you're just sleepy. You weren't tired, but that's good.
I got killed that morning. And so everybody, don't worry. I will make sure Philip is a very tired groom, so he's very well behaved for the wedding. So we'll have a good time. Looking forward to to do that. So it'll be fun. But this week, it's just a great week. I'm looking forward. We move over tomorrow with Cassie. It's her Brettina ride, so I get the opportunity to coach, and which is great. And I'm hoping to snag a few rides from a couple high performance riders for my own horses. So it's a great week, and it really
lucky.
is.
Yeah, ever since they redid that Lexington, the horse park and stuff, you're so lucky to be there and have all this great stuff going on.
Yeah, we love it. And so, really, I always tell people, if you're in town and you need help, give me a call, because I can probably solve your problem. So, and you would be amazed on what kind of, like I said, Robert Dover was here yesterday because of the rain. So it's really fun. So
great. Yeah. Well, what do we got for our show then? Talking about
we have a great show. We're going to talk. This is a festival celebration this week, and we're going to talk a lot about the Festival of Champions. We have Michelle Moorhead, who is the organizer and the president of Kentucky Dressage Association. She's going to tell us a little bit about anybody that's coming to Kentucky or the horse park. She's going to give us some information about how to get tickets and where to go and that type of thing. And then we have two festival riders. We have Nadine Orris, who is a pony rider, an FEI pony rider from Seattle, who's in town. And we have Claire Darnell from Texas. She is a small tour rider that are coming on the show. So it should be a great show. And Philip, what is in the news this week? We have a little bit of news that happened.
Well, there has been 8 riders that have been awarded grants through the United States Developing Dressage Program. These grants were made possible by a gift from Akiko Yamazaki and her Red Husky Foundation through the U.S. Equestrian Team Foundation. And the winners of these grants are Nora Batchelder of Florida, Shelley Francis of Florida, Brian Hafner of California, Kimberly Herslow of Stockton, New Jersey, Jamie Clement of Nebraska, Sarah Lockman of California, Silver Martin of Pennsylvania, Jessica Jo Tate of Wellington, Florida. USEF Developing Coach Debbie McDonald, Developing Coach Advisors Lendon Gray, Scott Helsler, Jeremy Steinberg, and Ann Gribbins selected these recipients to receive these awards. So congratulations to all these great riders. We've had many of them on the show here on the Dressage Radio Show. All great people, great trainers, and they have some fantastic horses here in the U.S. that are developing and continuing to develop, and we should look forward to seeing them in the future. Huh?
Absolutely. So we wish them luck, and these grants they're very, very competitive, and I look forward to seeing what happens out of those grants. So for sure. Well, after this commercial break, we're going to come back with Michelle Moorhead from the Kentucky Dressage Association, giving us a little information about the Festival of Champions.
Glenn the Geek here. The life of horse person is hard enough, and we all hate doing the required paperwork, and unfortunately many of us never get around to it, and it just piles up on our desk. That is about to change thanks to the EquiSketch Records app for your iPhone or iPad. My wife and I use it to track our horses, and we absolutely love this thing. EquiSketch Records is the most thorough and complete equestrian records app on the market today. We love this app because you can track your farrier work, your dental, your coggins, medicines, worming, and so much more. And you can get reminders on your device when all of these things are due. You'll never forget a worming or shots or farrier visit again. But it not only tracks your horse, you can also manage your horse shows, including individual events. You can manage riders, including lessons and memberships, and so much more. And you can sync it between your iPhone and your iPad, and all of this for the price of a couple of cups of coffee from Starbucks. Search for EquiSketch Records in the iOS App Store or go to equisketch.com. That's EquiSketch.com. EquiSketch.com.
Well, I am so excited to have Michelle Moorhead, the president of Kentucky Dressage Association, on the show tonight. Michelle, thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
We are really excited to talk about festival that's happening here at the Horse Park this week. So, Michelle, can you talk to us a little bit about kind of what festival is and what are some of the activities that are going to be happening here at the Horse Park this week?
Sure. First of all, everyone probably may associate the festival more with the name Gladstone. I know in my years of showing, I always heard people say, "Oh, I'm going to Gladstone," and I didn't realize Gladstone was the Festival of Champions. So that show, in essence, has moved to the Kentucky Horse Park this year. The jogs start on Tuesday, the 8th. The classes will start on the 9th and go through Saturday, the 12th. It's basically the show that's used to help determine the Olympic team, the WEG team. A lot of the very elite riders in dressage will be here. And so we're just thrilled with the opportunity to have them compete in the Rolex Arena and have people in Kentucky and in our region have the ability to come and watch them free of charge. There's no charge to come and watch. It will be in the Rolex Arena, which is the same venue that the WEG dressage classes were held in 2010. And we have rides beginning, as I said, on Wednesday. The Grand Prix Special will be Friday evening, and the Grand Prix Freestyles will be Saturday evening. So there will be 2 nights of evening classes. And there is a schedule and information on the USEF website. But we put a link just because the link is kind of long and hard to explain for people to write down. So if people want to go to www.KentuckyDressageAssociation.com, go to our shows page in October. There's a direct link then to the USEF page that has all of the schedules and who will be riding. Stefan Peters is coming. Gunter Sedell is coming. Many of the top riders that have competed in the Olympics for the United States and hopefully again in years to come.
Well, we are really excited. And Michelle, I have to brag on you because you're an amazing president. The things that have happened here in Kentucky are really phenomenal. And you are really the angel that makes it all happen. So thank you so much for all of that.
Well, thank you.
And Michelle, tell us, when people want to come to the Horse Park, let's say I want to come on Friday evening and I'm going to check the schedule. Where do I park and how do I get sort of to the Alltech, to the main stadium, not the Alltech indoor, but the main Rolex stadium?
Okay. The Kentucky Horse Park, if people aren't familiar with it, they can go to their website to get directions. But just you come in the main entrance, there will be signage up for general parking for the Festival of Champions. they'll park in the main parking lot and then walk up to the Rolex Arena, which will be well lit if they come at night. If they're during the day, again, there'll be signage. But it's the same arena that the dressage was in for WEG. And there, as I mentioned, there is no fee to come and watch the show. The only fees that people might incur would be whatever the horse park parking fees might be. So, but to actually come and watch, there is no charge. And there will be concessions and food available at the Rolex Arena for people. So the Celebrity Mounted Games will be Saturday night at 6:15, and it's going to be a fun event to raise money for the USET team. And Stephen Peters, Gunter Siddell, George Williams, and co-coaches Debbie McDonald and Robert Dover will help coach these teams to raise money. And each team is awarded points based on if they place first, second, third, or fourth. And they can also raise money with people attending the show, and the team that raises the most money and gets the most points wins. And they're going to be doing, they call it speed weavers. Some of us that maybe competed with quarter horses back in the day might call it pole bending. And they also have flag flyers where they have to go down and pick up flags that are in small containers as they're going at high speeds, and whoever gets back first. So it'll be a fun event to watch before the freestyles begin at 7:30.
I can't wait. I hope my team wins. I'm gonna bet.
You're gonna bet.
I am.
You're just gonna try and make money.
No, I'm gonna bet to make money for USET for sure.
Are you riding, Reese? Did they give you a pony?
No, I am not riding, but Aiden Ullers, who's going to be staying with us, she's riding. So I'm sort of partial to Aiden because the horses get in here tomorrow. They get in actually Thursday. And so they're going to be here. And she's already asked me to help raise money for her team. So I kind of am partial to that team already. So I don't know.
Right,
So it should
good
be
luck
fun.
with that. Yeah.
It should be fun. So, Michelle, just because we have you on the line and it is confusing, we have the Festival of Champions this week. What is happening at the Alltech Indoor Arena in November? Just so people can kind of get the difference on what's happening, the two different events.
It is very confusing, and I will try to explain it in a very simple way. So the show that's going on this week at the Horse Park, the Festival of Champions, those are basically riders that have competed in CDIs across the country, and they're the top 15 riders that have been invited to come and show in this event. The show in November is the USDF Dressage National Championship, which is for the open and adult amateur level riders across the country that have competed in regional championships and placed champion or reserve, and then they are invited to come and compete in the head-to-head competition. So in essence, we have 9 regions. So let's say all champion and reserve, open and amateur riders came from all levels. Then you, in essence, would have at training level, you would have an open class of 18 competitors and an adult amateur class of 18 competitors. So they will have riders from all over the country that have won or become or were reserve champions at their designated regionals come and compete head-to-head to find the true national champions for the United States. So one is for the CDI professional international, if you want to say, competitors that's looking to go to WEG, Pan Am Games, the Olympics. The other is for the open and adult amateurs across our country that would like to compete on a national level against one another.
Now, is the festival only Grand Prix?
It is Grand Prix Intermediate 1, and then Burkina Cup, Pony, Junior Young Rider.
Okay,
Did I
so
forget
it's
anybody,
yeah.
Reese? I think it's the same
It's
group
FEI
that would
levels.
be competing
FEI.
at CDI.
Yep,
Right.
the FEI levels. Yep.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I got it now. Thank you for explaining.
No, it is very confusing, and people I think are getting it confused because everything's here in Kentucky, yay, and at the same venue, but it is a separate
Shows. Yeah.
two separate shows, two separate qualifiers. And I don't know. We'll talk. We'll have Michelle back on to explain sort of what how you can get into the national finals. Or to the USDF finals in November. We'll have that so people have information. But this week is the festival, and that is the big team will be here, and a lot of the top level riders were coming. And this is for USEF National Festival of Champions. So that's what's happening this week. So it is confusing. So, but Michelle, thank you so much for coming on.
You.
And how do we find some more information again about festival? Where do our listeners go to listen?
I think the easiest way after I spoke with USCF, because again, their link is kind of very lengthy to get people to the right page. I think the easiest way is for everybody to go to the Kentucky Dressage Association.com. That's our website. And again, go to our show tab to October. And there's a information area about the Festival of Champions, and there's a link there directly to the USEF page that has all the schedule, the riders, and every information you would need to, all the information you would need to know about the festival.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Michelle, and I look forward to seeing you this week.
Oh, you too. Thank you for having me.
After this commercial break, I look forward to hearing from Nadine Orris and Claire Darnell from Texas to hear a little bit about their journey here to Festival of Champions.
Is your horse not drinking enough? Whether it's from weather changes, minor illnesses, trailer and traveling stress, there are many reasons you'll have a horse refuse to drink sufficiently. Yet being fully hydrated is the first line of defense against minor issues becoming major. There is a product that helps even the pickiest of drinkers drink more, All Natural Horse Quencher. Listen to what four-in-hand champion Chester Weber has to say about it.
Since I was introduced to Horse Quencher, I've been wildly impressed with its ability to keep the horses in the water buckets drinking, and it's given me real peace of mind. One often doesn't know they need a product until they're introduced to it, and this was a product I didn't know I needed at all, but due to the traveling that we do, it's been really helpful. It's also been very helpful with horses that, are a little colicky or something like that. We'll always hang a bucket in their stall. They'll drink more, and their general health will just be better.
Take it from Chester Weber, Horse Quencher is the all-natural product you want to help your horses drink as much as they should. Find it at your local feed store or tack shop, or online at horsequencher.com. That's horsequencher.com.
Well, it is my pleasure to introduce Nadine Orris from Seattle, Washington. She is on the show, and she is here in Kentucky this week getting ready for the FEI Pony Division. Nadine, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, we're so excited. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your pony.
I'm 13 years old. I come from Seattle. It's pretty rainy there. And I train with Chantel Bryant. She's such an amazing trainer in person. I train in tall furs at Redmond, and my pony is 14 years old, 14 hands, and she does third levels plus tempies. And, for the first 2 years, it was really a struggle with me and her, because I was just figuring out how to ride her. And she would always stick her head out the arena door, just run out and just stop for the grass. And she's such a brat sometimes. But once you sit back and relax, she's so much fun. She's such a great pony. And I'm going to be so sad when I have to sell her. But, on two sides is too big, so it's understandable. Got to move on to the horses.
That sounds about right. Now, dressage, you're fairly young for it. How did you get into it? Why were you interested in it? And how long have you been riding in general?
Well, I've been riding since I was about 5. My mom and dad really tried to stick me into soccer and swimming because, horseback riding really isn't a cheap sport, to say the least. So when I was like 6, and then it was like the spring the next year, I went to Germany, and for about 3 weeks, my grandpa was just like, hey, let's lease her, a little Shetland German pony while we're over there. So it was like, I just got lessons for 3 weeks, and I was hooked. It's the only thing I ever really wanted to do after that. So, my mom's like, well, you can do soccer or horseback riding. And I'm like, horseback riding. So that's how I kind of got back into it. And then when I first started riding, I really wanted to do jumping. But in Germany, my mom used to do show jumping along with my grandpa and everything. And over there, you have to be a good, second level before you really start jumping. So she really forced me and pushed me to do dressage first. So that's how we found a trainer named Dora Dean, and we kind of started with her on school ponies. And I kind of built my way up to there, and I'm doing FEI pony, and I've been to some jump competitions, but I'm just like, I'm dedicated to the dressage world, and I just love it so much.
So what did make you kind of decide that you wanted to go this is the first high performance division. It's a relatively new division at the Festival of Champions. So what made you decide to do and come to qualify to come to festival here in Kentucky?
Well, when it first came out in 2011, I knew that I always wanted to do it. I just wasn't at a high enough level. And, there's not a lot of ponies out there in America that can do it. So, just qualifying and being there is such a huge accomplishment, being on a pony, because it's like, it can be really hard. There's some like gutty four-loop canter, serpentines, picking up with simple changes, picking up the counter canter, So it's not an easy test, and it's just a lot of fun once you learn how to ride it.
So Nadine, tell us a little bit about your journey to get here to Kentucky. How did you qualify, and tell us a little bit about your trip and that type of thing.
I qualified I went to mainly just Whidbey Equestrian Center shows, and it's a great little farm in Whidbey Island, Washington. And, there's 2 judges, just like there's like 2 rings, so it's pretty small and everything. And I qualified there, and I got some really nice scores that I was happy with, And the road to Kentucky was kind of like we were on the plane, and it was like we were delayed. So it was like we were an hour late, and my mom didn't calculate the time zone difference. We had to go around a big lightning storm that was happening. So when we landed in Chicago, we had to like run to our next wing to get on the plane, and we had like just made it right when they were boarding, so we got really lucky that we didn't miss it. And when we got here, it was just beautiful. I mean, there's no place in the world that I've been where it's just like so many horse farms after horse farms, and like people that you can really connect with, because they're just all horse people out here, and the food is great. I love, pulled pork and pulled chicken, and the food down here is just amazing, and the people and the horse farms and the racing, and I love it.
Kentucky and its barbecue and its I guess not bourbon for you guys, but we enjoy our bourbon.
But her parents have been having a great time.
Yeah.
Oh, they have been doing. Every day I'm like, where have you guys gone? Because they have done their research, and they know where to go and what to do, and it's been pretty cool, like hearing what they've been doing. Yeah. So what are you looking for?
We always check out all the local restaurants and stuff. So.
Oh, it's amazing! You guys. I keep asking where you're going today. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. So, what is the rest of the week hold for you? What are you looking forward to the most for the rest of the week?
Definitely like going to all the parties and watching the celebrity mounted games. I'm sure that's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to watch Aiden and her team ride against the other teams. And definitely, I really have to focus on both my team tests and my individual. But it's just going to be a blast riding in the Rolex Stadium, because it's like so cool. I've always wanted to ride there because, they hosted the World Games there in 2010. And it's like a dream for a lot of people and for me. So it's so cool that I get to ride when I'm only 13.
Yeah, I think that's, it can be, are you nervous at all? It can be a little scary as well, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm a a little nervous. I'm not sure how my pony is really going to do with all the flags waving and, the stadium and the pond right next to it. I'm just hoping that she won't jump out and go for some water.
Yeah.
No, she'll be great.
It'll be
It's such
fine.
it's a great stadium.
Optimistic.
Yeah, exactly.
You do.
Exactly.
That's exactly right. And it's
Positivity.
a great stadium.
Yeah.
It's big,
Yeah.
and once you get in there, it's so big
It's
that
just-
you're not going to feel it. You'll be great.
So Nadine, for any of our younger listeners, what is, maybe some tips or some advice for people just starting out in dressage, or if you're a young person, because I know there's not so many people in it. I think it can be sometimes a little bit lonely.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it gets a little frustrating, but you really have to stick with it because it takes some time to master the higher level movements, and once you master it, it's just a great feeling. It's just fantastic, just mastering movements and moving along. There's no other feeling when you're so determined to do something, and there's not a better feeling in the world than accomplishing that and just sticking with it. It takes a lot of patience and discipline, and that's, for me, one of the best parts of dressage. So.
Well, we are so happy to have you here and have you in Kentucky, and we can't wait to continue to follow your career. This is so exciting, and we wish you the best of luck this week for sure, and we'll be rooting you on here from the Dressage Radio Show. Nadine, thanks so much for coming on, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yeah, bye. Thanks for having me.
Well, it is my pleasure to welcome Claire Donnell from Texas here on the Dressage Radio Show. She is here this week at Festival of Champions doing the small tour. Claire, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Well, Claire, we are ready to get started. So tell us a little bit about your horse and your journey here to Kentucky.
His name is Calamar. He is an 11-year-old Oldenburg by Kentucky out of Vodka Gimlet, who's by Martini, and he was bred in the United States by our good friend Zeta Steidel in Colorado. I have had him since he was 18 months old and have done most of the work with him with the help of some other, outside trainers and everything that have been super the whole way along. He did the Markel Young Horse Championships as a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, and 6-year-old. Then he went back for the Developing Pre-St. George Championship, and in 2011 did the Festival of Champions and the Pan Am Selection Trials in the small tour. And then last year we did the Developing Grand Prix Championship, and this year we are back in the small tour again. For qualifying, I showed him at the KDCDI in Texas and then brought him here to Kentucky for the Kentucky CDI, and he was a really good boy at both of them. For the Kentucky one, I was sort of trainerless because my mom was judging a show. I don't even know where she was, but she wasn't with me, so that was a little bit different, but he was a good boy, and we still finished towards the top of all the classes, so I was really happy with him, and it was good to get to ride in Kentucky and get him into the Rolex ring and everything before having to come back for a festival. So that was a really good experience, I guess, this spring.
Yeah, that sounds like you're pretty used to doing these championships, and there's a little bit of a USA good breeding story. So I mean, that's nice to hear that horses, are being brought along by American trainers, and they're having a lot of success with American horses. So that's awesome to hear. Now I want to get a little bit off of topic because I'm from Canada. I don't know if you knew that, but I'm wondering what the dressage scene is like in Texas and how you deal with the heat a little bit down there.
The heat is pretty tough to deal with. This past summer was not actually as bad as the summer before that, where we were starting to ride the horses. One week we went out at 2 a.m. and we rode them through the night and then slept during the day, and that only lasted a week. But the rest of the time it was still getting out there at 4:30, getting on the first ones by 5, and finishing out by 9:30 or 10, because it's just so hot that it's not fair to keep working the horses when it is like that. Even with a covered arena, it's sort of like a little oven. But the scene in Texas it's getting better. We're really happy to have our CDI there. It's been there, I think, for 3 years now. And it's a little bit bigger every year, and they do a great job with that CDI, and it's Houston Dressage Society hosts it, and they've done a really great job. I think that club, that GMO, has been one of the biggest pushes in developing the dressage scene down there. They've really done a lot to encourage quality riding and competition and training. They brought in in February, HDS brought in Stefan and Janet, and they did a really great seminar together, and I was lucky enough to be able to ride in that as well. So, yeah, the dressage scene in Texas is definitely improving.
No, that's good to hear, that the GMOs are doing a great job down there, and to host a CDI, it's such a huge ordeal and sort of big for the management. So, but, it's hard as a high performance rider like yourself to try and qualify. Like you said, you're in Texas, you had to come here to Kentucky to do the CDI in Kentucky. So it really does pose some extra challenges for you.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't have a drop score qualifying this year because we used to do the CDI in Katy, and then we would go up to Lamplight and hit that one and then come back for the CDI in Kentucky, but we didn't do that this year. I don't think, did they have it this year? No, they didn't have it this year.
They did not.
So
It wasn't an option.
So with no CDI in Lamplight, those were really my only two options without really traveling far with him. So yeah, we just did the two and hoped that those scores would be good enough to get us in, and they were.
So Claire, is this your first Festival of Champions?
No, I actually did this. This is my second time at the festival and my second time at the small tour with the same horse. I did it in 2011 when it was also the Pan Am selection trials. But that was a bit of, he did not travel well to Gladstone, colicky when he got off the trailer, and, you can't give anything, and so he was just on fluids, and he recovered from that, and then the weather was similar to how it has been here the past couple of days with just a ton of rain, and he ended up getting sand under the pads in his shoes and got bruises, and so the farriers there had to make him special shoes, and we were soaking his feet and icing. My mom stayed up for 2 nights soaking him and changing the packing every hour. So that was probably not the ideal way to go through a festival, but I was still happy with him. He was very good, but we're hoping for smooth sailing this time around.
Absolutely. We want you to have some smooth sailing. And you've mentioned your mom a couple of times, and your mom is a wonderful lady. She's also Joan Donnell. She's an S judge, and she's very, very well known and very well respected. What is it like to have kind of your mom as your coach?
I think it's pretty awesome. She is available almost every day to help me with the horses, and she's brought me along, when I was 13. I got the ride on her Grand Prix horse and finished up my bronze medal on him, I think, that year. And then was able to take him to Young Riders in 2002. And then he retired shortly after that, but she's helped me bring all the others along. And when I was off at college, she would keep them legged up during the week and keep training on them. And then I could come home on the weekends or any afternoons that I didn't have school or didn't have class or something like that to keep riding on them, and that worked out really well. So I think, a lot of people asked how we do it and said, but that's, how do you do that? That's a hard thing to do, but I don't really have any other options, but it's a great option.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you just make it work.
And I think it wasn't so hard after I got to ride on her horse, because if I didn't do what she was telling me to do, we didn't get results. So that was sort of, when I was riding the Wicked Little Pony that I had and she would tell me what to do, then maybe it was a little bit difficult, but that was when I was, 10. So that change in learning to listen to her, and that she does have more experience and she does know more than me, that happened pretty quickly when I was pretty young.
Sure. No, I think it's good. I think, again, you never know where your help is going to come from. And when you live in an area like Texas where you don't have a lot of options, your mom is by far a very, very good option or the best option in the area. So.
Yeah, and I'm very lucky.
Yes, absolutely. So what are your hopes for this week during festival? What are your goals for this week?
I just want to put in clean rides and not have mistakes and have fun, I don't think I need to stress myself out about it. It's just another show, and we are very lucky to be here, and I'm happy to be here, but I just want to have a good time.
I think that's a great thing for everybody to remember. So Claire, how do our listeners find you online? Do you guys have a website?
Yes, we do. Our website is pretty easy. It's www.dressage.us.
Ah, perfect.
And
that's
we are
great
also
one.
on.
That's super easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very easy. And we're also on Facebook under Darnell Dressage. So those are the two best ways to find us, and all of our contact information is listed there.
Perfect. Well, have a great week, and we can't wait to update our listeners on how well you guys do this week.
Thank you.
Well, those were great interviews. What do you think, Philip?
I think these people are so excited to show at festival. I wish I could qualify and come down and see her.
I know. You could ride in the Rolex ring. Well, maybe you'll come to the CDI in Kentucky in the spring. How fun would that be?
That would be fun.
I'm just putting a bug in your ear. Come to the CDI in Kentucky in May. That would be so fun. But no, it's really going to be a great week and a lot of fun things happening. So I can't wait to tell everybody sort of about our highlights of the week next week, because I'll be there and can do some, I never get to report,
on the
like
scene,
live
yeah.
reporting on the scene. I think that sounds exciting. So I'm looking forward to that.
I think it works better on TV than radio on the scene, because you can use the background or, whatever. So.
Well, yes, and somebody that's maybe trained to do that. So I will be coaching, and I will get to see a lot of fun stuff. So it should be a really fun week.
You can do our report for sure, though.
I will try. Okay. I know, and then I'm also going to do that from the national finals. So I maybe get good. This may be a new thing for me. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. Well, everybody, don't forget to send us some emails or Facebook shout outs. We love to give shout outs, but we don't have any this week. So please send us some questions and things that we can help make the show better, and things that we can discuss, because we always like to do that for you all. But you can find our show notes and links to today's guests on our website, dressageradio.com. You can like us on Facebook. Just search Dressage Radio Show. Follow us on Twitter at Horse Radio. My website is maplecrestfarmky.com, and my email is reese@horseradionetwork.com.
You can find me at philipparksequestrian.com, and my email is philip@horseradionetwork.com. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week for allowing us to put on a great show. And don't forget to check out all the other shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com.
Everybody, keep your heels down and your shoulders back, and we will talk to you next week.